Hi, this is Calpun Piso with shocking facts proven by science. We were created by accidents over 4.5 billion years ago when a star exploded. Accidents. It's like a hole in one. And that's the way life was created on planet Earth, by accident. We're at the right spot, the right place, the right time. And here we are. Over 40,000 years ago, after we evolved from lowest forms, eventually, also by a tremendous accident, creating a brain that is aware of its own existence, because all animals have a brain. All of them. We are animals. We're intelligent apes, intelligent primates. And this is proven by DNA. And when was DNA discovered? Not until 1953 by Crick, the DNA helix. Long time ago, way long time ago, everything was a mystery. And the organs of reproduction were gods because they give us orgasm. The orgasm is basically the bait that nature puts in there, the reward for all life forms to pass the genes. So when you do this, you create this tremendous sensation. And of course, in ancient times, they thought it was God. And no, it's not God. God doesn't exist. It's our creation to make sense of everything. So over 30,000 years ago, religion began. All this epigraphy and thoughts and thinking, of course, by also the ingestion of psychoactive substances, flowers, mushrooms, and things like that. Sometimes by accident, and eventually when they start realizing that this mysterious plant will produce this visions to make you see gods and angels and things and understand things better and get you out of your own body, then they start using that in religious rituals. All over the world, the same thing. You can go, the epigraphy, the evidence is right there. And no, they were not aliens coming from a different planet to do this. And of course, when you're the effect of this all over the world, again, when 10,000, 15,000 years ago, when you see this rock figures that look like space aliens and all that, they are natives that actually ingested these things, and they draw men in a different weird shape. And some people are very dumb and very ignorant, and imagination going all over, like von Däniken's, for instance. They say, oh, this is proof, all these petroglyphs that the aliens visited, and they created these ramps in Peru, and that's why the planes took off. That's total nonsense. It's stupidity. Aliens come around here, and nobody can find them. They don't show themselves to everybody, to anybody on Earth. And then they live. It's primitive. It's just stupidity. Not so. Logic tells you that it's ridiculous. But that's what all this stuff came from. From natives ingesting entheogens and then drawing different weird things. Take LSD and take a brush and start painting something. Like the people in the hippies in the 60s. You see what I mean? The only way to understand these things is with science. We are born lacking belief. In other words, atheist. And we adopt the religion of our parents and the beliefs of the society and the language and everything. So, problem is that we are crazy primates. And our brain just loves fairy tales. It loves these things that explain things. It's better to just say God did this, and then you write a stupid book like Bibles and Talmud and things like that to explain this stuff instead of sitting down and learning science, astrophysics and neurology and chemistry and trying to put everything together, why this works, why it doesn't work, and do the testing. That's a lot of work. That's the reason people flock to churches and together and synagogues and mosques and get the dosage of ignorance that stagnate their intellect with all the fairy tales. They say absolutely nothing. It's like when you go to Disneyland. Now, who goes to Disneyland and believes that everything in Disneyland represents a fact? Who? Children. You know, they're 5, 6 years old. They believe everything is real in Disneyland. Why do they believe it? Because they have faith. Faith, or lack of knowledge. Faith is always inversely proportional to the knowledge and information of the person that has it. Also, people that are delayed, they have problems with the brain, will believe everything in Disneyland is true. Exactly the same thing happens when you're infected with religious psychosis. If you're uneducated, then you have an excuse. We're ignorant. But if you're educated, like Francis Collins, for instance, the head of the Genome Project, and you believe in resurrecting zombies that say with blood, then you have a problem with the brain. Religious beliefs accept bizarre beliefs as true, mathematical beliefs, are no different than neurological disorders like schizophrenia, schizotype, temporal lobe epilepsy, that makes the brain accept completely irrational concepts as reality. That's simply a fact. This is what many brilliant scientists, atheists, like Dawkins, Dennett, Sam Harris, P.C. Myers, and many, many others, and some very brilliant, remind me of. They see in certain direction and they don't make the connections. They don't see religious as a psychosis. The greatest problem in the world today is religious psychosis. People that are either ignorant or they have problems with the brain to accept the things as true, which is is ridiculous in the 21st century. But also the so-called atheist. People that are brought up in Christianity infected home or Islamic infected home or some of those, and now they're supposedly atheist. And you have my examples are people like Dawkins and Harris and P.C. Myers and Dennett and many others. They are brilliant scientists, but they have a tunnel vision. They would never mention, because they're affected by they're brought up in these Christianity infected countries, and they don't say the truth like they supposed to be said. They are animals. They're created by fuck. They take a shit. They have to take a leak. They have to fuck to create and to receive orgasm, like all of us. They have to go to school. They get educated. They learn things. But the problem with these people, so-called atheists, is that they wear tunnel vision goggles, like many of the people infected with religious psychosis or the schizophrenics. They see these apparitions and things. They don't have a scope. They don't have a panoramic vision that you connect the dots. And believe me, you don't need PhDs and a scholastic thing and a fluid use of the language and all that like Dawkins has. But he says nothing. He says nothing. The man is, I'm sorry, but he's like blind. He's like this. He wrote The God Delusion. He never, not once said that the brain is the one creating all the thoughts. None. The same thing with P.C. Myers and Sam Harris. And they make a lot of money saying absolutely nothing. They don't compare. They're like this. They don't see. All religious beliefs accept bizarre mathematical beliefs as true. Just like in neurological disorders, they never mention it. They have to connect all these sciences. When you have a degree on something, and you study all your life in it, you develop a kind of a tunnel vision because you ignore all their stuff. So you have to connect the dots to be able to understand things. This is the truth of how everything began, proven by science. Because everything I say is backed up by science.
When scientists at NASA analyze the dust, they discover a vast array of complex organic chemicals, including aminos and hydrocarbons.
There you go. Science, people.
This confirms Sanford's theory that comets contain building blocks of life.
When you want to...
The Earth lies at exactly the right distance from the Sun to allow liquid water to exist on its surface. It happens to be the right size to burn for billions of years, long enough for life to have evolved. The solar system is littered with all the elements needed for life. These elements themselves are only possible because of older stars that have burnt out. These older stars only existed because of a tiny unevenness in the early primordial gas, itself produced by a 1 in a billion imbalance in the sea of particles that came from the Big Bang.
Just an accident, like a holy one. Today, we know that the delusion of God is the creation of the brain, a functioning brain or ignorant brains. And that's what atheists, blind atheists today, should point out, and they never do. And I just show you some clips of science, how everything happened. But guess what they believe a while back, 1,000 years ago, how everything happened. Very mysterious. Look at this.
In addition to the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, a 5th, quintessence, contains the pure essence of life. Quintessence is eternal, uncorruptible, and different from the other earthly elements.
Another element on the physical level that compose the universe.
Aristotle believes that quintessence is somehow linked to the creation of life. Today, we know that elements make up not just life, but also everything in the universe. All the elements, including ones essential
and the Epicureans, the early atheists,
clouds of debris left over from dying stars billions of years ago.
So in ancient times, the gods were associated with the stars, and of course also with the organs of procreation that all animals have, that creates orgasm. Because orgasm is divine. It puts us in heaven. Just go along with the love with your girlfriend. But you know, today we know how it happens. Female vagina has pheromones that produce when it ovulates. It happens on all animals. Other animals immediately pick them up because they have better senses than we do. We have lost all that, but we're still feeling it. So that's why we get attracted to a female, because the little odor of the vagina, which is, you can hardly notice it, but it affects your brain and triggers it and say, oh, and penis crash resurrect, and you want to create. But here is what the ancients thought, and how they, over 5,000 years ago, the sun of the sun rays were equivalent to a penis, the creator penis, and the vagina was sacred. They were the gods of procreation, which I call them penis Christ and vagina. This is a 40,000-year-old representation of penis Christ. And of course, the lady's tits that produces the milk were sacred also, and all of it received orgasm. These figures here are like 12,000 years ago, from temples. They were all in temples. All this sex is in temples because it was sacred. And this is the goddess Ashura, and this is an Egyptian papyrus of the god Atum creating the autofellatio. He's receiving the milk of his own penis that creates, and of course, orgasm. And in the Greek times, of course, that you have penis that was very sacred, penis Christ, the phallic symbol. This is the Apollo of Delos, the phallic representation of the god Apollo that was considered a big penis. And you can see the crosses here. There's a cross that represents the sun god, and of course, Virgin Mary shooting blessed milk in the mouth of a saint, and the saint is open the mouth also to have penis Christ should come or seed into his mouth. So, all religions started with sex, sacred sex, and, blessings of orgasm, and trying to make sense of ourselves and into the world. Today we know what all this is. It's science. So being religious today, you have to be either a child, extremely ignorant, you have a problem with your brain, or, you ingested some drugs. And that's the only reason you can actually have the bizarre mathematical beliefs of God and all that. But here I say, my point is how to enjoy religious psychosis and remain a sane atheist. And I'll get into that pretty soon. But now, let's see how the truth is about procreation and about DNA passing the genes and the feeling of orgasm and how everything is felt in the brain and how it is. Which atheists like Dawkins and all these people are blind and they never say it. You know, they have beautiful English, beautiful things, and they miss the whole point, which is terrible. Professor von Hagens, brilliant scientist, is giving us the science of biology, how the human body works.
This is the tool which we as evolved mutated primates use to procreate. I call it penis Christ. This is the altar in which penis Christ deposits its milky offerings, creating new lives. Also a product of evolution. I call it a cave of creation. After 500 million years of evolution, trial and error adaptations, here we are. The final result. Matter getting to know itself, aware of its own existence, using a brain. Same structure, right there, all the elements. In other words, we're actually a better, more improved model of this. And
we evolved mutated primates have a brain. Thus, we're insane, crazy primates. But see, that's what we can use the brain to actually, which we know that we are what we are, our nature. We can use the brain to actually act and actually enjoy the fantasies. Like if you pretend that you're a child and you start believing in all this fantasy, science fiction, all that, you enjoy it. It's good to see a movie. The same thing like with church. If you're a Muslim, a Christ psychotic, or anything like that, you can enjoy the psychosis by just going to all these churches and put all the costumes and pretend that you're like that, and you have communion and the God, and you bow and all that, and then you enjoy it. It's kind of fun to get away from reality, and then you go back to what you are. Religious psychosis don't do that. They just believe in the fantasy. It's like being left in Disneyland and then believe everything is real, they come back and still believe in the whole damn thing is real. That's what makes them psychotic. But the brain is the most important thing. Here it is. Professor von Hagens also have an exhibit about human brain, which is absolutely amazing. Everybody should go over there. Every child should go there. And this is what's happening inside of our heads. This is where we create thoughts, the universes within our heads. Talking all these axons and the synapses, all the neurons, there are more connections and neurons than actually stars in a galaxy. That's how in the universe, how this is what's happening inside our heads. So we have to keep this balance. We have to know this when we talk. We say we are evolved mutated primates. We create God with the brain. All this is nothing creation of God. This is bullshit. All this is creation of accidents. 4.5 billion years of trial and error. And this is what we have in our heads, which is absolutely amazing. If we are aware of this, we are the gods. We can do anything we want with any delusion that we want. All life forms in the planet, they fuck for procreation. No exception, including us. We receive blessings of orgasm. We are product of a fuck, not a stork. And that includes all the blind atheists, but brilliant scientists like Dawkins and P.C. Myers and Dennett and the rest of them. All of them. Brilliant physicists like Kaku and deGrasse Tyson and all of them, neurologists like Persinger, all of them. They're all product of a fuck. All of them. And they create all this with the brain. The thing is that they are brilliant and they start taking between fantasy and reality, and they reject the religious psychosis. But when we talk about science, we have to say we are product of a fuck, and we're creating everything with the brain. This is the way everybody started. Thanks to science, an ultrasound was done, and they said, boy, cerebellum.
Birth of an atheist. 9 months of construction. Product of evolution. Another mutated, evolved primate being born.
In my 63 years. Thank
you. Okay, nice and low, push, perfect. Now stop.
It should be mandatory for all children in the United States after 8 years old to see a live birth. They will appreciate their parents' alive much more.
Shawnee.
Get ready over there.
Good.
Birth of an elephant.
Good girl.
Good girl.
We are related to every living form in the planet. DNA proves that.
Good girl.
The DNA toolkit is what makes us human and makes a orangutan is an elephant and etc. etc.
Good elephant. Ready, Johnny.
All animals do that. That's the reason they're called mammals. Animals fuck, receive orgasm, and then they have a gestation period. But the interesting thing about it here is that all animals, when the egg is fertilized and all that blastosis happen, fertilization, the embryos are all the same. They all look the same. Only the DNA toolkit will make the difference and makes us differentiate us from humans.
Just like any other animal, any other primate.
Again, all the astrophysicists, Dawkins, Kako, all the geniuses, all the artists, everybody was just like that. Even the Pope and all these idiots. That's the way they come up with. Evolved mutated primate that created all the thinking with the brain. We started, the brain is absorbing all the information the moment that we are born. And the imprinting period is very important. Information is pouring in.
Period. Okay? Imprinting period.
We are defenseless little animals full of bacteria. And our brains are getting information very
Now
rapidly.
he's getting, his brain is becoming to learn very, very fast. Very fast, imprinting period. But he's an atheist, he's born lacking belief. Now, if anybody can see any other animal being born, they all have the same thing. They all have the four extremities, the head, a brain, all composed of neurons and everything. DNA, like any other animal. And
well, all this started with the fuck, receiving the blessed orgasm. And when the kid was born, after it was born, I filmed all this. And then I use enjoy the religious psychosis, but remain sane. In other words, what I did is I performed a baptism. Right there, candle and all that. That was a fantasy. So anybody can do that. Anybody, you can be an atheist. Occasionally it's good to go for brain relaxation and enjoy a little religious psychosis. And this is what I did. In nomine pene Christus noster, qui est in celis sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat specur regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in caverna, sacra lactis nostrus quotidianum da nobis hodie, et diminitu ca nobi castus nostra, sicut et nos diminitus castas nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos castis mala. Apollo the sun, Tellus the earth, the air, and water will bless you. Actually, I'm reciting the Lord's Prayer, as it should be said, because the only true creator God is our penis, our sexual organs. So here, this is English translation. I'm saying, our penis Christ who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy cave kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth caverns as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily sacred milk, and forgive us our chastity as we forgive those who attempt to make us chaste. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Chastity. He or she posed for me as the mother of God, the son of penis, the Christ. And then, of course, I celebrated with the pater familias. And then the mother cave wanted me to change diapers. No way, these kids are jet propulsion. And then, boy, they had me over for a bath, and boy, just to take my picture. And then he bit me. So I'm glad I don't have any children. But well, it's like this, Timmy. Winnie the Pooh and the Tooth Fairy and Jesus the Christ are the same person.
I want to get your watch. You know, this kid said you love to examine every little thing and all that. And I can't believe it. Timothy's 6 years old. 6 years old. I saw him being born. Getting out of his mom's all wrapped in plastic.
I think I'm going to send this video to all the atheists, the brilliant atheists like Dawkins and the rest of guys and scientists, and they ignore their beginnings. They just, oh, here we are, the scientists, and the big lecture and the beautiful English and everything else. They don't realize they were product of a fuck. They were little creepy little babies like that, full of bacteria that emerged, and then thanks to they had a healthy brain, they became scientists, atheist scientists. But let's don't ignore our beginnings. We are nothing but primates, evolved mutated primates. We're full of shit. Our only life after this is bacteria. And come on, tell everybody this, so we can actually start putting people that believe in God in the institutions they belong, because they need help. They're going to ruin the country. They're stuck in the Middle Ages, and that's a disgrace. Pacha de Oro.